I'm a big fan of horror movies. I love slasher films, the suspense, sitting on the edge of your seat. And one of my favorite places to come see them is right here at the Mayfair. It's a local theater in Ottawa that shows all kinds of films. And right when you walk inside, it looks like you've stepped back in time. The layout is super retro. They have a ton of movie memorabilia all around the theater. And just recently, the Mayfair screened a film called The Terrifier 2. It's a clown slasher film that's caused quite the stir online for its excessive gore on screen. While the first Terrifier was not released to cinemas, the second installment in the franchise premiered in theaters on October 6th. Despite the film's tight budget, director Damien Leone was able to create a gut-wrenching film that's already developed a cult following. But not everyone is amused by the extreme gore and bloodshed featured in the film. So why would a theater show such a violent movie? And why are people watching it? Here at the Mayfair, no film is off limits, regardless of the gore. But the theater has received pushback from fans for showing films that push boundaries. In 1983, the Mayfair was forced to cancel a showing of David Cronenberg's body horror classic Videodrome, after Ottawa police threatened the theater with obscenity charges for screening the film. So I sat down with Josh Stafford, co-owner of the Mayfair, to find out why they choose to show such films.
What I think is hilarious about us is that at any given day, we're playing the craziest horror movie ever at our 9 o'clock time slot, and then the matinee could be a family classic, so we're really all over the place. But yeah, we've always screened kind of horror films and independent stuff and anything like that that is a bit off center, but then at the same time we're, as we speak, playing Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, which is probably going to win an Oscar and is going to be on Netflix in a week. So we play the real mainstream stuff as well.
So there's clearly an appetite for these films. The first Terrifier had a $35,000 budget and wasn't released to theaters. But despite that, it became a cult classic and wildly successful on the internet through online streaming services. Now, the second Terrifier was released to theaters. So far, it's made over $10 million through its cinema release as well as streaming online. So I began to wonder, why are films that are so gruesome becoming so popular? I spoke to Professor Matthew Poulter from Carleton University. He's a film professor and a horror expert and fanatic. Have you seen or heard of the Terrifier movies?
I have seen the first film, and yeah, at the very least, I can't comment on the second, but the first one was definitely one where I remember going like, wow, I did not think you could make a movie this explicit these days. Like, I was a little impressed it became the hit that it did.
Why do you think people are so drawn to that or are willing to sit through people just getting kind of torn apart?
It's almost kind of hand in hand with why do people go on roller coasters? You don't do that because it's a safe experience or one that you need to have in your life, but it's that adrenaline rush that you kind of get.
Do you think we'll continue to see more movies like The Terrifier, where it's just almost directors pushing how far they can go with what they're showing?
I think we will, and I think that especially in horror as a genre, there's definitely already a market for that, and not just a market, but also a fascination with it, both academically and as audiences.
After my chat with Matthew, I decided to catch a screening of the movie myself and see what all the hype is about. And while at the Mayfair, I caught up with some other horror fanatics to hear their thoughts on the film.
Well, I like the first one, but also I heard it's supposed to be crazier or more intense or more. And I read a lot of hype about it, a lot. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to see it. I like the creativity, the craziness. There's often a lot of taboo breaking or a lot of bizarre stories, or there's certain things that you can do in horror movies. There's certain stories you can tell that you can't do in other movies.
No ambulances tonight. Looks like everyone's staying safe at the Mayfair. Everyone who came out was just looking for a good time and a good scare. That's what all horror movie fans love.